Hi, I'm Caleb Jones, and this is Alpha Male 2.0, freedom-focused lifestyle design for men. How to have your own location independent business that frees you from your 9-to-5 job and your collapsing Western country, and dating multiple, that means 2 or more, multiple attractive women long-term with no lying, no cheating, and no drama. The freest lifestyle available to the modern-day man in the collapsing era in which we live. This is the last Alpha Male 2.0 regular live stream. I'm not doing these anymore as a regular weekly thing. I will do sporadic Q&A live streams sporadically once a month, once every 6 weeks, something like that, because my schedule is getting a little tight. And so I can't do these anymore, but I will still be posting regular content on YouTube. And I have not figured out what to do about the podcast yet. There will still be a podcast. I'm not sure what to do about it. I haven't really given that a lot of thought, but I'll figure that out in the next few days. I will still do a Unchained CEO live stream tomorrow. That'll be the last Unchained CEO regular live stream tomorrow. Cool. What else do I want to say about that? I guess nothing. All right. Let's start out with our topic. It's a happy topic, as you can tell. I like happy topics. Hang on, let me drink out of my BPA-free plastic because this is my non-electrolyte water, so I had to, it's a long story. Okay. I have 2 topics today. One's going to go kind of long, a second short one about monogamy, then I'll open up for questions. Cool. And if you want questions, then now's the time to ask because I'm not going to do this for a while. Again. Okay. New video. Welcome to why following society will kill you, at least metaphorically. You think, let's go back. You think that because you're in society and society is here, therefore it makes sense. It is here, therefore it makes sense. It's been around for a long time, therefore it is good. Therefore society is good for me. Wrong. Just because something exists doesn't mean. Hang on, I'm going to start that over again. New video. Let me crack my neck first and then say new video. New video. Welcome to why following society will kill you, at least metaphorically. You believe that because society is here, it must therefore be a good thing. Because society functions, sort of, it must therefore be a good thing. Because society's been around for a long time, it therefore is a good thing and a moral thing or a good thing for me. Wrong. Just because something is there does not mean it is good. So here's how this works. Let's rewind a little bit. Human beings, by default, this is their how human beings are wired. When you get a large or even small group of human beings together, they automatically create something called the market. And when I say automatically, I mean that literally. No one has to sit down. You don't need a bunch of rich, powerful white guys sit down and say, we need to create something called a market. No, the market automatically occurs without anyone doing anything. The market is the sum total of all the people in a given region, culture, country, world, whatever, buying and selling things from each other. Everybody needs food and housing and healthcare and transportation and entertainment and internet and stuff like that. And everyone has these needs. And so they buy and sell to get these needs met. That creates the market. That's why it's automatic. The market serves 100% of all the needs of society. 100%. Now, you will probably think, no, that's not right. The market can serve some needs, but not all of them. For some needs, we need something else, which I'll cover in a second. No, actually, the market does actually serve 100% of every need society could possibly have. Now, if I am rational and objective, which fortunately I am not going to sit here and say, like some extremist anarchists or extremist libertarians, the market is 100% perfect and everything, and it's perfect and it's wonderful. We should just, no, the market is not perfect. No system created by human beings is perfect. The market is not perfect. There are disadvantages to the market. Make sure you remember I said that because I'm about to say some things you don't like. I am saying the market is not 100% perfect and there are disadvantages to the market. That being said, if you're being objective and rational, it does solve and serve 100% of society's needs. It does. Now, here's where the problem comes in. A lot of people are immature and impatient. And in some certain areas, the market will solve certain problems, but it's too slowly for these people. These people don't like to see the problems because they're impatient and they're immature. I will use a left-wing example and I will use a right-wing example because they're both guilty of this. Left-wing example. Let's say someone in a modern American city starts a restaurant in a downtown area, and they start a restaurant and they put a bunch of signs on the walls outside the restaurant saying, "No black people allowed in my restaurant. Black people not allowed." All right. Now, the marketplace by itself will eventually solve that problem. Why? Because most non-black people, most white people would not go to a restaurant like that. I would never go to a restaurant like that. And I am not black, if you noticed. So what would happen is eventually, after a few months, that restaurateur would very quickly as in a few months, go out of business. The market would have solved that problem. But there are people out there who are immature and impatient, and they will see this and go, "Oh my God, this person's a racist. We need to do something about this now." They don't have the emotional maturity to see some racist signs for 3 or 4 months, so they need someone to come in and fix it right now. It would have been fixed anyway, but they are impatient, so they want it fixed now. Now, lest you think I'm beating up on left-wingers, here's a right-wing example. Some big company selling something to men, it doesn't matter what it is, razors, cars, beer, it doesn't matter, run a bunch of left-wing woke ads, extreme woke anti-men ads. Some transgender woman gets up there with a bottle of beer and drinks the beer and says, transgender people love this beer. Men suck. Fuck you. And what would eventually happen? Well, we know this for a fact. What eventually happened is men don't buy the product. And then these companies lose hundreds of millions of dollars and they stop running the woke ads. The market fixes the problem. But some people are immature and impatient. And they just can't see these woke ads and they lose their fucking minds. They say, someone needs to do something about this because I do not have the emotional maturity to look at these woke ads for several months before this company loses hundreds of millions of dollars. I want to fix right now because I'm immature and impatient. Left and right, they both do this. So what these people do is they create things called governments. Governments speed up the solution to the few areas the market can't resolve quickly. It can still resolve them, but not quickly. So the government resolve these things faster. Now that sounds like a great system. This is great. We can have the market handle the things the market fixes and have governments that handle the things that the market doesn't fix fast enough for our little baby emotions. Perfect. It actually doesn't work that way. The problem is that governments have many negative, horrific side effects. These side effects include, but are not limited to, things such as massive wars that murder millions of innocent people, including little kids. Little disadvantages like that. Gigantic, bloated, evil corporations that get bailed out by taxpayer money for no reason. Massive inflation, making it harder for you to pay your bills and feed your family. If you're an American, have you bought eggs lately? Massive taxes causing you to work harder because you're paying the government 50% or sometimes more of taxes you see and taxes you don't see, which you could have used to pay your bills. Thousands upon thousands of completely innocent people thrown into jail or prison for ridiculous reasons. Massive censorship and destruction of free speech. People literally going to jail for sounds they make with their mouths or their keyboards. And on and on and on. I could fill the next 10 slides with these horrific side effects to this thing called government. Now, if society wasn't so immature and impatient, all of these problems could be avoided. But society doesn't care. No, society says, I want millions of little kids to die in these stupid wars because I can't handle seeing a racist sign for 3 months or a woke ad for 3 months. My emotions can't handle that, so I will take all those negatives plus 10,000 more because I'm impatient. We haven't even discussed yet the biggest negative of government, and that is when you create this thing called government, it creates a new group of people that didn't exist before called the elites. The elites are the small number of people who actually run society. These are the top politicians, the top bankers, the top CEOs, several billionaires, and other people who basically run everything. Now, you might have been tricked by society into thinking that something called democracy runs your country or your culture, when in fact it doesn't. The elites run it. If you are a left-winger, did you choose Kamala Harris in the United States to run for president, or was she appointed for you? You do not run these things. Democracy doesn't run these things. The elites run these things. The elites want you to do 5 things in no particular order. The first thing is they want you to pay lots and lots and lots of taxes and inflation to them, which are basically end up being the same thing. Money from you to them so they can keep all the politicians and bankers and billionaires and CEOs in power over you. Staying in power requires a lot of money, and they need it from you. They also want you to buy a lot of stuff for you because they want you docile. I'll cover that more in a minute. They want you to buy lots and lots and lots and lots of stuff, including stuff you don't need, stuff you don't want, stuff that's going to put you in debt, stuff that's going to destroy your country or destroy your children later on. They don't care. They want you to buy lots of stuff. They also want you, when elections come up, they want you to either not vote and stay home and don't vote, or if you do vote, they only want you voting for 2 or 3 or 4, depending on the country, very similar elite approved political parties that are actually 85% identical in the things they actually do and accomplish once they are in power. They say very different things. They say radically different things. But if you ignore what they say and only pay attention to what they actually do, these parties all do about 85% of the same thing. The difference is the 15% at best. And that's what the elites want you to do. They want you to either not vote or only vote for these 2 or 3 parties. And that's it. They also want you to consume lots of drugs, social media, porn, video games, and prescription drugs. The elites love prescription drugs. They want you consuming all this garbage so that you are docile and lazy so you don't revolt. The elite's role is to rule over you and exert as much control as they can over your personal lives and your financial lives and your whole life without you revolting. They don't want you to revolt. So they know if you spend a bunch of time watching Netflix and on TikTok and Instagram and watching porn and playing Call of Duty and popping your prescription drugs because you have depression and anxiety and ADHD. Awesome. They love that. These are the 5 things they want you to do. And these are the 5 things that most people do because that's what society tells them to do. Oh, I forgot the last one. One of the biggest one of all. Matter of fact, the most important one. We're going to focus on this more in a minute. They also want you, they know you're going to get mad. They know that your life sucks and society grinds you down, so they know you're going to be angry. So they want to direct the anger, and they want you to get mad at people who disagree with your politics or your religion. People with virtually no power or no power who disagree with your politics or religion. And when you scream at these people, the elites love it. When you scream at the people on the other side of the political aisle on Facebook or Twitter, the elites just high-five each other. Thank God, this is great. They're mad at each other. They're not mad at us. We can keep running their lives. Awesome. To this end, society run by the elites has successfully divided people into several subgroups, and all these groups hate each other. Now, you think these groups naturally formed because of natural social dynamics in society. No, these groups were actually created and walled off on purpose by the elites because they want you mad at each other and not mad at them. They did this on purpose. These groups of people include, but are not limited to, left-wingers. Left-wingers are people who think that government has a magical, infinite amount of money and can spend literally all the money it wants without any negative consequences down the road. Therefore, if you don't want to use the government to help poor people or disenfranchised people or whatever, if you say, oh my God, no, there's a problem if you do that, they will call you a greedy asshole. You are not compassionate. You are a dickhead because government has unlimited money and will never have any problem spending it, so why not spend it? You selfish prick. Then you have Trump supporters. Trump supporters are people who believe that a big government corporatist businessman who is great at marketing and branding, but terrible at literally everything else, and has a long track record of breaking huge promises he makes to his own followers, will wave a magic wand like Harry Potter and save their country. Traditional conservatives. These are people who think government should be used to enforce, or at least strongly encourage, their religion. And if you don't like their religion or are part of their religion, tough shit for you. Socialists. Socialists believe that that market we were talking about earlier is evil. The market is evil. It kills people. It enslaves people. You can't have anything in the market. Government has to do most of everything because the market is evil. What do all these people have in common, despite the fact that they all hate each other? They actually have something quite large in common. They all love government. All of them love government. They love it. Now, they do love it in very different ways. The ways in which they love government are different, but they all love government. A left-winger wants government to spend billions of dollars on poor people. The right, or the Trump supporters, want government to spend billions of dollars building a wall. And they both want things like UBI and free, quote-unquote, government-paid healthcare. They think that'd be great. The problem is that government is the number one source of the problems these same people complain about all day long. Not everything they complain about, but the vast majority. They love the thing that they hate, or creates the scenarios and situations that they hate. This is society. Here is another belief that they all have in common. They believe that men, by default, are evil, raging barbarians. They really believe this, that if men are left to their own devices and just do whatever they want, they will murder and rape everyone. There will be massive barbarian-like hordes of men attacking cities, raping all the women and killing people and horrible pillaging because men are evil, raging barbarians. Therefore, to make sure these evil, raging barbarians don't kill and rape everyone, society, or should I say the elites, invented something called monogamy. Monogamy means that a man must choose one woman and only one woman and just have sex with that one person, that one woman, for the rest of his life. If the woman doesn't want to have sex with him, he still can't have sex with anyone else and just goes without sex. And if he doesn't like it, tough shit for him. If the woman eventually decides that she doesn't want to be with him anymore, she can leave him and take half of his money, and in many cases, all of his kids. If he doesn't pay this money, he will go to prison. Even if the breakup isn't his fault, and even if he can prove it in court, and even if he can prove in court he can't afford what he is supposed to pay, he still goes to prison. This is called divorce. Now, side note here, you don't have to be legally married to go through what I'm calling divorce. If you live with someone for many years and you break up, the same scenario often occurs, especially with kids, but also things with alimony, palimony, communal property, etc. You don't need to be legally married in order to get divorced, but it is more traditional when you are married. If you look at what society does, not what society says, but what society does, society loves divorce. Divorce is at an all-time historic high all over the planet Earth, and the rates are rising even though less people are getting married. So even though less people are getting married, the divorce rate is still increasing. That is how fast and how often and how frequent people get divorced. They love divorce or they wouldn't do it. If you point out that this entire system is kind of unfair to men, both the left-wingers and the traditional conservatives will remind you, men are evil, raging barbarians. We need to calm them down. This unfair system is necessary to keep those evil, raging barbarians in check so they don't kill and rape everyone. Now, shut the fuck up, you evil barbarian, and get monogamous, and shut up, you selfish prick. In order to survive, or at least do moderately well is well, to do well in society, you have to do something called go to college, or otherwise known as university. College or university is where you spend tens of thousands of dollars and years of your life learning things that will not help you in the real world. After this, you have to go get something called a job. A job is where you spend 50% or more of your waking hours doing shit you don't like to make someone else wealthy. Now, if you don't want a job, you could start your own business, and that'd be pretty good. But the elites don't like that. The last thing the elites want are a bunch of people running around starting their own companies and not being employees. They don't like business owners. They like employees. They like workers. They like drones. So the elites will make sure that they will talk about starting your own business in a negative way. They will say things like, starting your own business is risky. It's really hard. It's really complicated. And the final nail in the coffin, you don't want to be a rich person, do you? Rich people are assholes. You don't want to be an asshole, do you? Rich people are dicks. So then people go, well, God, I don't want to be an asshole, and starting a business looks scary and complicated. I'll just stick with my job that I hate. I could go on and on and on, but this is society. This is the system you support. Now, you may say, I don't support this. I don't like these things. I don't support society. That's not correct. Wrong. Every time you do things like vote in an election, I will exclude your local town elections. I will exclude those. Excluding your local, not your state, not your province. Your local town, that's different. But if you vote in an election that is anything bigger than your local town, you support this system. Every time you attack someone online who disagrees with you politically, you support this system. Every time you attack someone online who disagrees with your religion, you support this system. Every time you declare or imply that government should do something that they are not currently doing or more of something they are currently doing, helping poor people, build a wall, left and right both do this, you support this system. Anytime you say or imply that anyone not engaging in monogamy is selfish or immature and needs to just grow up, you support this system. Anytime you say or imply, that men are evil, raging barbarians and must be chained and curbed to do what society wants, or else they'll rape and kill a bunch of people, you support this system. Every time you support the few elites that you like, see, it's not like you all hate the elites. No, most likely you love some elites and hate other elites. So every time you say, this elite, I love this person, but this elite is evil, you support this system. Now, if everything I've just gone through, you like, if you like this system, if you just, all the stuff I just described to you, this is great. I agree with all this. Wonderful. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep living the way you've been living your whole life. Just keep voting and arguing and being pissed off and working at your job you hate and stressing out about how much things cost and attacking people online and being pissed off at the elite. Great. Just keep doing that if you like this system. The elites love people like you. People like you make the elites very happy. When they see people like you, which is most people in society, the elites smile and take a deep breath, have another little sip of champagne, and make another $100 million. Awesome. Just keep doing what you're doing. But if you don't like this system, maybe you should change your life and start doing something else. End video. Different topic. Let me take a drink of water. Hang on. Somewhat related to what I just talked about. This is a theory I have, working theory. I'm not sure if I'm right. I'm pretty sure I'm right. I'm pretty confident. You can't be pretty sure. I'm pretty confident that I'm right about this. I could be wrong, but this is what I think. My lovely wife, Pink Firefly, just texted me this morning and informed me that one of my brothers is getting engaged this weekend. This is the 6th time. I love my brother. I have many brothers, and they're all monogamous to a degree. This is, I think, the 5th or 6th time that he is either married or engaged or moving in with a woman who's monogamous with. And I've been thinking about, not about my brother, but about this topic for the last few weeks. Years ago on my blogs, when I was first talking about monogamy, and people freaked out, said, "Oh, shut up." This is what they said back in 2009, 2010. Monogamy works fine. You just have to find the right person. So women, I would go on dates with women and they say, monogamy works, you just got to find the right guy. And then I talk to guys, including, God forbid, pickup artists, about how monogamous work. Yes, it does. It works great. You just got to find the right girl. You got to screen, man. You got to screen. You got to game your wife, man. So everyone fought me on this. No one fights me on this anymore because monogamy is so bad. So I was kind of right. And one of the excuses I had back then on my blogs was, well, what if everyone does this? Well, what if everyone's non-monogamous, Caleb? Well, Caleb, what if every American leaves the United States? What if a unicorn shoves its horn up your ass? Won't happen because there's no such thing as unicorns. So that'll never happen. You're worried about something that'll never happen. You're just pulling excuses out of your butthole because you don't know how to refute an argument that is accurate. So what I said back then was, and you could go back and look, this was years ago I said this, there will always be people who choose monogamy in any society. Always. No matter how bad monogamy gets, there's always going to be a percentage of people who are going to go for monogamy anyway, knowing that it doesn't work, at least long-term monogamy. And because there's several subsets of people. There are people who are really needy. That's the people who would choose monogamy no matter what. People who are really needy. People who are really religious. People who are really jealous. People who are just really societally brainwashed. People who are physically unable to have sex, like really old people. And I said back then, my rough guess was about 20%. Now that's a rough guess. It may be 30. I said 20% at the least. At least 20%, no matter how bad monogamy gets. At least 20% of the population are still going to choose monogamy. That could be 25%, 32%. I don't know. I said that. I think we've reached this point now. So I just talked about a few weeks back how divorces got even worse. I show you all the stats. Horrible. Okay. At this point in society in 2025, no one can argue that long-term monogamy works. I'm not going to mention names. I've had 2 reasonably famous online people want to debate me on monogamy in the last few years. And when the debate comes up, they magically bail out. Oh, something come up. I can't talk. Great. Let's reschedule. I'll debate your ass. Let's do it. And then they never reschedule. I wonder why. You don't need people who are pro-monogamy. When you tell them that long-term monogamy doesn't work, they don't argue with you anymore. They used to. They did. They argued with me all the time back in 2009. They don't anymore. Why? Because they know it's so obvious among everyone they're seeing, and including their own experiences, that long-term monogamy does not work. Okay. So now what happens in the olden days, you would say long-term monogamy doesn't work. They say, yes, it can. You just got to do this and this, and it'll all work fine. Today, they just go, yeah, but they still do it. People who choose monogamy now in 2025 going forward are like cigarette smokers. Okay. Who in the world doesn't know that smoking not weed, cigarettes, that smoking cigarettes won't kill you? Who doesn't know this? Everybody knows that if you smoke cigarettes for a long time, it will eventually kill you. You'll get lung cancer. It'll age you. It'll give you wrinkles prematurely. You'll start talking like this, even if you're a woman. Everyone knows this stuff. So if you've noticed, because I've seen this happen several times, because I grew up in a very left-wing area, Portland, Oregon, you'll have a smoker smoking a cigarette. Could be a man or a woman, doesn't matter. Okay, right? And some Karen comes up and says, you really shouldn't smoke. You're going to get cancer. Secondhand smoker, right? What do the smokers say? Do smokers say, no, I won't get cancer. I won't get cancer. Fuck you. I have healthy cigarettes. No, they don't say that. They know it'll give them cancer. So they just go, and they just keep right on smoking. They don't care that the cigarettes are going to kill them and give cancer and ruin their lives. They don't care. They're going to fucking do it anyway, and they don't care. My theory is that is people who choose monogamy now. People like my brother and hundreds of other millions of people. There are hundreds of millions of people right now in the Western world practicing non-monogamy. As I predicted many, many years ago, they would. They don't talk about it. They hide it. They're pussies. They don't say it in front of the world like I do. They still go on their Facebook pages with their spouse and their kids, and they don't talk about how the husband was just banging some 23-year-old he met on secret arrangement. They don't, and the wife knows. They don't talk about it, but they're doing it. Hundreds of millions. Many of you are in this category. Non-monogamous, but nobody knows because you're scared. Because what'd my mom think? I know what she would think. You're a 38-year-old man who gives a shit about your mom thinks, so she thinks you're a puss. So hundreds of millions of people in the Western world are now practicing non-monogamy because they know monogamy doesn't work. But that still leaves another hundreds of millions of people who are still attempting long-term monogamy when they know it doesn't work. To be clear, I mean long-term monogamy. That means monogamy with long-term expectations. If you're dating someone in a monogamous relationship and you do not care if that person leaves your life in less than a year, you just don't care at all, that's different. But that's not very many men. That's maybe 3% of men. So that's not the norm. The norm is if you're in a monogamous relationship with someone, you want that person around for at least the next 10 years or more, don't you? So that's called long-term monogamy, which does not work. So the people who are still doing it know it doesn't work and are going to do it anyway. I think we've reached that threshold. If I talk to my brother, I'm not going to do this, but if I said, bro, what the hell are you doing? That's not going to work. You're just going to break up, get divorced again, or she'll cheat on you, or you'll cheat on her, or you'll argue, or whatever. He won't argue with me. He will say, that's not true, Caleb. That will not happen. He'll say, yeah, I know. Still want to do it. Same thing with my dad. My dad, when he was going into his third marriage after, he divorced my mom. My mom divorced him in their 70s. He came to me and said he had been dating this one for a few months and said, I think I've talked about this before. He said, I'm getting married. He looked at me like this because he knew what I was going to say. I said, I'm going to say. And his answer was, I don't care what you have to say. I said, okay. Within 2 years, he was divorced. He didn't care. People who get monogamous today in 2025, I don't think care that monogamy doesn't work. They're going to do it anyway. And if you point out it doesn't work, they're not going to disagree with you. They might get angry, but they're not going to disagree because they know. So I think we've now reached the point where we're not going to have a massive new number of people be non-monogamous who are currently monogamous. I think instead what's going to happen is the hundreds of millions of people who are non-monogamous will just keep doing it. And over time, they'll start talking about it more. It'll become more societally acceptable. But the percentage of people who are still stupidly and insanely trying to get monogamous and expecting it to work the rest of their lives, or at least 10 years plus, and constantly getting divorced and having breakups and drama and cheating and fighting, they're going to keep doing it. If I was the most popular person on YouTube, if I was more popular than Mr. Beast, you would still have the same number of people doing monogamy in society. They say, well, fuck him. I'm going to do it anyway. I don't care. That's what I think. So I think the era of trying to convince people that monogamy doesn't work is kind of over. I think the people who understand and I don't know what the percentages are, that long-term monogamy doesn't work, they're either single and not having sex, which is also very common with Gen X. Great generation, guys. Not Gen X, Gen Y, excuse me. Gen Y, great generation, Gen Y, and a lot of millennials too. They're either not having sex, they're single, or they are non-monogamous to some degree. Not what I'm doing. I'm an extreme non-monogamous person. But they're doing something already. You don't need to convince them. The other people, they know it doesn't work. You don't need to convince them. They're going to go, They're going to be like that cigarette smoker you're trying to convince to quit. Bare minimum, what these cigarette smokers will say is, yeah, I really should quit. Yeah, this is really bad. But they still keep smoking the cigarettes. And people are going to still be monogamous and going through pain and suffering and cheating and arguments and divorces and custody battles. And that's going to keep going on forever because, as I said many years ago, and I was right, there's always going to be a percentage of people who are going to stick with this ridiculous system that has never worked called long-term sexual monogamy. That's what I think. All right. Answer the questions. We got this has to be a quicker live stream than as well. So I'm only answer a few questions. I got to go. I'm in the middle of a lot of shit. I'm 5'8.5", good-looking young guy with game skill. Do you suggest I use height insoles for better results in night game and day game? Yes. I feel like I'm being fake to myself and the girls I meet. Oh, then don't. If you're wearing the height insoles and you're conscious about it, women will be able to tell. They'll say, why is this guy so nervous? And you won't get laid. So the answer is no for you. If you don't give a shit, I've worn them. I'm 5'10". Now, I haven't worn them in many years. But on first dates, if the women were over, what was my rule? I would look at how tall women are on the online dating apps. And if they were, I think 5'8". If they were 5'8" or taller, I would wear my 1-inch lift dress shoes to be a little taller. I would do it, but it didn't bother me. I didn't care. And once you have sex with her twice, she doesn't care. Even if sex with her once, she doesn't care. It's not like you take the shoes off and you go down 1 inch. She goes, oh my God, I can't fuck you now. That's never happened. So if you feel like it's incongruent, then don't. Improve your game skill. If you don't, if that doesn't bother you, yeah, do it. It'll help. Yes. I registered for the Unchained Action table on Sunday. When does it start? I do not answer customer service questions. These live streams, I don't even know. Send an email to theonlyblackdragon@gmail.com. You should have got some emails. If not, check your spam. All usual customer service stuff. Moving out of my parents' house in Miami to Las Vegas to do night game in New York. Okay, good, finally. And day game hardcore like Paul Janka. Okay, cool. Before getting residency in other countries. Thoughts? Before getting residency? No, you get residency now. Move out of your parents now. Get residency now. Do day game now. You can do all three. Why do you have to do day game in New York City, then get residency? You're making excuses. While you're doing day game and getting laid, go get your residency. You don't wait to get residency. Have you not been listening to any of them saying last 5 years? How it gets harder every year. You don't wait. Nope. Did you watch WWE when you were a kid? No. I was never into wrestling or boxing when I was a kid. A lot of other stuff like that, but not like that. No. Martial arts, yes. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the elites were a consequence of average and patient population who couldn't serve their own problems naturally, right? So we created the elites. No. Well, we created the elites, possibly. Yeah, society did that. Yeah. One of my mentors, Dan Kennedy, said that the vast majority of human beings have their umbilical cord hanging out of their belly and they're looking for a place to plug it in. Now, do these people say we need to make a leader? No. A power structure were created, and the leader said, I'm going to be your leader now. I'm going to tell you what to do. And most people said, okay. Some people said, hey, fuck you. And that's where you had civil wars and stuff. You mean communists? There are a lot of people who call themselves socialists who are actually communists. Depends on the socialist. I want to make $1 million a year to buy a $3 million house with a mortgage payment of $12,000 a month in Tennessee with no state income tax. How is this possible? I have at least 3 or 4 live streams on my Unchained CEO channel, how to make 7 figures. Go watch those. I have a business where I buy and resell diabetic supplies back in New York City. I live in Paraguay and have a person who I pay 30% of the profit to manage everything. Should I have an opportunity to scale it? Should I? I can't answer that question. It depends how much money you make. I don't know. Depends on what your goals are. What are your goals? I don't know how much money you want to make. You want to make 10 million a year? Are you happy with what you make now? Do you want to make a little more than what you make? I can't answer. Should I make more money, Caleb? I don't know. How much money do you want to make? Ask yourself that question. So the elites control all narratives, marriage, pop culture, education. Yes. 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 And you support them. If you're a Trump supporter, left winger, you support this system. If you're anarcho-capitalist, you don't. Good for you. Not very many of you. If you're a minarchist libertarian like me, you don't. Good for you. If you've left the United States for the collapsing West, you don't. Good for you. But what percentage of that is people hearing the sound of my voice? Pretty low. How to deal with family disputes. I was helping my sister, and then she cussed me out at saying, "Go fuck yourself" at me. Even though I have been helping the most. Have you ever cut out people? I've discussed this many times. Soft next to your sister. Don't talk to her for 2 years or a year or 6 months. And if your mom says, "But you have to," you say, "Mom, fuck you. I'm not doing it." And if you don't have the balls to do that, you deserve anything your sister says to you. Mid-30s, broke. Okay, that's not good. As a digital nomad like your son, I can sleep 8 hours, work 6 hours, can work more if you need, okay, but travel, absorb cultures, and still hit $30 million net, $1 million a year before AI take over West class. No, bro, Ralph Mack, you're not going to make $1 million a year by working 6 hours a day. I've done numerous live streams on this. And what I keep saying is, if you want to make $1 million a year, you're going to blow your fucking brains out for many years. I'm sorry. Can you make $1 million a year before the AI take over? Yes. But you got to work like me, not 6 hours a day. I work almost double that, 7 days a week. No, you're living in a fantasy world. It sounds like you don't have the motivation to make $1 million a year. Sounds like you want to live your life. Drop your income goals down, way down. Make you $100,000 a year, location dependent. You can do that 6 hours a day. $1 million a year? No, not even close. One time this chick asked me for a dick pic, and I'm old school, so I sent her one in black and white. Okay, it's a joke. Great, thank you. I forgot I got to pre-read these comments. This is one reason I'm not doing live streams anymore. These comments are too stupid. Getting a vasectomy, but I don't have the money to freeze sperm in 2 states. Then freeze it in 1 state. And then, do the best you can. So I'm freezing 2 separate clinics in my city. Thoughts? You're making an excuse. If you can freeze it in 2 different clinics in your city, you can afford to freeze it in another city. You're lying. You're making an excuse. Don't be a pussy. Your thoughts on Christian McQueen? I heard his dating advice really good. Never heard of him. I don't follow dating coaches. I don't have time. I'm busy building a company, several companies. If I join 90 Business Builder, can I request a one-on-one coaching session for you for 30 minutes to an hour? You'll have to pay for it. Yes, I would be open to that. You have to pay for it, though, and I'm not cheap. It's not part of the program, no. There are group sessions with me. One-on-one, yes, I would do it, but you have to pay for it. Do you see any value in us starting blogs, podcasts? Yes. I only asked, so you recommend a podcast to your daughter, cool girl, and I've also been told the same. I just don't know what it would do. One of the protections you have against the AI takeover is having a personal brand. I've talked about this a little bit. I'm going to talk about this a lot more over the next 6 months. So if you have a personal brand, I am much less threatened by AI than the vast majority of you. Why? Because I have a personal brand already. I've been working on this since 2009. You're already behind schedule. So yes, you need to do something. It's one of 3 things: either blog / things like, Substack, LinkedIn articles, things like that. So text, or podcast, or videos. Video tends to be the best. Podcast second best. Text the least best, but text can work. He goes, I know Justin Welsh is. He made that work. It was all text. Makes $1 million a year. So yes, set up a personal brand. I don't know what to do. That's your own problem. I've talked about this 10,000 times. Find a niche, everything I used to talk. How old is your dad this year? He goes with the year, so he is 85 years old. Curious, since your dad's still having an active dating life. He has a girlfriend now. My dad's a beta. He used to be an alpha 1.0, and like most alpha 1.0s, he turned into a beta because that's what happens when men get old. They don't get a TRT. So he has a girlfriend who is Japanese, and they de facto live together, and she's elderly, and he takes care of her. And of course, he's monogamous, yes. He'll be monogamous forever. Current AIs like ChatGPT 4o stop work if idle for 30 minutes. Mine doesn't, but I pay for it. You may have the free version. Any affordable AI 30-month arranged as example to keep processing guides and uploads nonstop without constant pings. We're going to talk about that in a minute. I forgot to announce something. Man, I'll answer that in a second. Does your live stream to stop the weekly live stream have anything to do with your big goal next year? Every single thing I do has to do with my big goal next year. Every single action I take, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, from now until April or longer, Every single thing I do in my life, including my personal life, my physical life, my business life, these live streams, every financial decision I make is all about that goal. It's called commitment and focus. Yes. You can't save everyone. Andrew Tate's popular and told men to stop simping, and there's still guys on OnlyFans spending millions of dollars a year. Correct. Get out of society. Yep. How does the location dependent Alpha 2.0 raise 0 to 18 kids while dating? Okay, I'm not answering dumb questions. Can you share what you're going to do with your life after you've hit your greatest goal next year? What kind of project do you have in mind? That's a very big answer. I'll give you a snippet or two. I'm going to keep working, but I'm going to work because I want to express myself in the marketplace, and not for making money. Right now, I'm all about the cash. Give me the cash. All I care about is money right now. I'm going to shift and work for not money, for my own entertainment and my own spiritual fulfillment and things like that. My own self-actualization, because it's all self-actualization based. Well, Kill, what does that mean? Well, I have a few things in mind. One of them is I'm going to write philosophy. Can you make a lot of money writing philosophy? Nope, but I won't care. So things like that. That's one thing. Fiction, write fiction. Maybe do some animated TV shows, comic books, things like that. Definitely. Some other stuff that I'll talk about later. So those are little bits and pieces. And I'm going to spend more time not working. I'm going to cut back my work hours, spend more time with my girls. I still see guys saying that a happy wife means a happy life. Correct. They're called beta males. Right. Tried calling a few cosmetic dentists and they told me they have no problems and their calendar is full. Do I pick a new niche? Yes. If they say they have no problems, move on. I used to care about when girls would text me back, but I really don't care anymore. I guess that's part of my OI evolution. Cool. Also, is marketing offers, SEO, social media options. SEO is terrible. I think SEO is awful. No, don't like it. For plumbers and general contractors, good Alpha 2.0 business. If you've confirmed the plumbers and general contractors in a given niche or a given region want more clients, yes, but don't do SEO. Will you still upload recorded videos weekly on the channel? Yes, I'm still going to do YouTube videos. 2 or 3 a week. Yes, I'm still going to do recorded videos. Here's what I'm doing. I think I explained this before. One of the reasons I can make this change is I can record these videos directly to the cloud, which is what I'm doing now in a live stream, but I can just do this without it being a live stream. I can do whatever I want. So these live streams I do at certain times, right? So I'm going to do the same thing I'm doing right now, just without an audience. Record the same StreamYard. It's going to record right to the cloud. There'll be an automation that sets it over to an AI thing that chops up the videos and then automatically uploads the videos. There's be some human interaction. So takes less of my time. I can do it whenever I want. And I won't have to pay someone a lot to do it. Before, when I was doing videos, I did the standing way. I'd sit there with a camera and record the video. And then do the video. Okay, then hit stop. And then I do another video. Okay, then I have to upload the video, which takes 10,000 fucking hours. You're uploading high, okay. Then I have to pay someone to edit the video and take other things and put in the graphics. I don't do any of that shit. That's why I started doing live streams, because I don't have to edit this. Do I have to edit this? No. Regarding diabetic supplies, that I'd be fucked if my guy quits, then I'd love to have to go back to New York to manage it. Then this is a terrible business. Start a different business. That's a terrible business. My dad got married the 3rd time at 83 years old. It's not unusual. I know. Old men can't be alone. That's why Gene Simmons went monogamous. Old guys get really one-idiocy and really needy, and they can't be alone. My dad included. He told me, like Caleb, I can't be alone, which is most men. When I talk about the Unchained Man, the 6 societal values, one of them is, I think number 4, the 6 societal values, unable to be alone. I can't be alone. I got to be with somebody, even if it's horrible and monogamous. And yeah. Mm-hmm. He claims he's too lonely not having a wife partner. There you go. Bingo. That's how old men work. This is what happens when you turn into a beta male and you don't pay attention to your testosterone, men. You turn into these guys. Guys like my dad, guys like his dad. This is what happens. That's you if you don't do my anti-aging shit, you don't stay non-monogamous, you don't do TRT, you don't maintain your hormonal levels, you turn into a big beta pussy. That's what happens. I love my dad. I love my dad. I'm talking to my dad tomorrow, I think. Love him to death. It's nothing to do with whether I love my dad. Talk about what you will look like when you're 80. I know what most of you are going to end up like if you lived 80. A lot of you aren't going to live to 80 with what's coming. She is traditional, does everything for him, makes, cleans, also really homely. Yeah, well, yeah, sure. Dropped out of college because it's an obvious scam. Good. Doing DoorDash for cash right now for money while I build my location and business. Good. When 10 girls ask what I do, what should I say? I'm building my business. It's called da-da-da, and it does da-da-da. That's true. Don't lie. But that's true. I'm building my business. Plus, you sound pretty young. If you're 22, are women expecting you to make $1 million a year? Probably not. I already have the niche sorted out and what I'll be selling B2B and my income goals with this business. How far ahead am I of everyone joining the 90 Biz Builder? You're about six weeks ahead or so. $30 million net as I recommended in Freedom Fortress. I didn't say 30 million net. You calculated that number using the formulas of Freedom Fortress, and I don't know how accurate they were. I can work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, yet still relocate money or so internationally to change window view, feel alive while prioritizing health. I don't understand your question. You're going to be, I'm going to say this again, and I'm done answering your same question, Ralph Mack. If you want to make $1 million a year, you will not be in balance. You will suffer and be in pain. If you're like, well, I want to live my life, then don't make $1 million a year. As I've said, maybe 500 times. It sounds like you want both. You want to live your life, but make $1 million a year. Sorry, you don't get that. Pick one. Choose one. I chose the millions. That's what I chose. And I'll live my life. I live a pretty good life. Is $200K a month a realistic goal for the medical industry location dependent? I have no idea what you're selling, what the margin is of what you're selling. So there's no way for me to answer that question. Can you share more about your okay, I answered that question. Your big goal? Can you share more about your big goal next year? It's not one goal, it's about 7. Super curious since you never really shared too many details about it. Correct, I'm not, and I'm not going to. I don't tell you how much I make. I don't tell you what my net worth is. I don't tell you where I'm invested. I don't say these things because I don't want to end up like Andrew Tate and go to jail. I don't want to end up like Grant Cardone and get sued 10,000 times. These guys are like, yeah, check out my Bugatti. They live horrible, stressful lives because they brag about their shit. You have no idea what I got and what I make. And I live in a little tiny apartment. So if the IRS comes knocking, look, I live in this little tiny apartment. I don't have anything. I got nothing. I'm poor. Is it all financial goals or more to it? No. I said this before. I said this last week. There's 2 physical goals. There's 1 or 2 personal goals. There's about 4 or 5, 5 or 6 financial goals. And it's not just I make this or I'm worth this. It's my financial is a little complicated. So I have several different goals, different areas. Net worth, passive income, active income, a bunch of stuff. And these numbers attached to these things. Very specific numbers. I'm about to hit a goal in about 3 weeks. I'm on day 3 of my 30-day challenge. One of them is a weight goal. I'm going to hit that goal way before next April. I'll hit that next 3 weeks. Woo! I already hit one of my personal goals. That's done. So a few of these goals are already checked off the list. The video with Gene Simmons on Joy Behar. Oh, I know. Oh, that was so painful to watch because he was my hero for so long. The video with Gene Simmons, Joy Behar saying, please come back is fucking hysterical. It was painful for me. That kind of stuff it is funny. You're right. For me to watch alphas crumble into betas is the most painful thing for me to watch emotionally. Reading Neil Strauss's book, The Truth, I had to read that book to review it. Oh, the worst experience I've ever had in my life reading a book. It's like reading an entire book of Gene Simmons, please come back, please come back, please come back, please come back. That was Neil Strauss's book. I don't know if that's Neil Strauss today. Yeah, it kind of is. But I mean, that's why so many of my ex-pickup artist buddies are now all married, monogamous, pussified betas. It's so painful for me. I saw my dad do it. I mean, it's just, yeah. I was doing OMAD research and some people experience bad breath because of burning ketones. How can we offset this? I have literally never had that problem and I have sex with lots of girls. No one's ever complained. Stop worrying about it. Some people say that. Okay, Ralph, I'm ignoring your questions. You said you're going to spend more time with your women life next year. Not my woman life, my women. My woman life is different than my women, my PDMs and my wife. Yes. Since you're not working so much, what do you mean by spending more time? Are you like going to go crazy about it, live wildly? I'm a 53-year-old introvert. Do I look like I'm a wild guy? You think I'm going to be banging like 18-year-olds and snorting cocaine? Is that the kind of guy I seem like to you? No, I'm not going to go wild. No, I'm 53. No, if I was 25, yes. Yes. I know a guy. You may be watching this recording. I'm not going to say your name. I know a guy who is 26 years old and just did a multi-million-dollar exit. So I promise you, he's going to be like this weekend. He's 26. I'm 53. I'm going to be spending more time with my lovely wife and my lovely PDMs. Something that Pink Firefly is looking very forward. She is so excited for me to spend more time. I'm going to give her like 2 days a week. Like I just spend time with no work. Like I just spend time with her. She's like pumped because that's her love language is time. So, and I'm excited too. Can't wait to do that. Love my girls. Love my wife. Where are we here? Okay, a few more questions. I got to go. Question for you. If you're dating an MLTR or OLTR and they ask you for business services, free or discount, should that be refused? I think so. Don't mix business and pleasure. Your take. My general answer to that question is you are right. Don't mix business and pleasure. But if you want to give her advice here and there, sure. You can offer advice. That's okay. But get into her business and work alongside her. No, not good. Very, very. Your odds are against it. And if I have a lot of business experience working with entrepreneurs, I'm doing this for 35 years, whatever, okay, in my consulting practice and other things. It's rare that a guy working with his wife or his girlfriend in the same business works out great. It happens. I've seen it happen. You know, Alex Hormozi. Okay, yeah, he's the exception. He's the exception to a lot of rules. Is it typical? No. There's an explosion and then it's a nightmare. No, don't do it. How do you go about finding a provider for TRT at just starting out? I've had a few in mind, but I saw bad reviews. You always get bad reviews from everybody. I think I have some bad reviews. Not very many, but you know. What's a reasonable price for TRT yearly? Is $4,500 yearly reasonable? I don't know yearly. It's several hundred a month, depending on the protocol, depending on your age, depending on 10,000 other things. How you do it? You rule of 4. Well, this is what I did. You interview on the phone at least 4 different clinics/doctors. Interview on the phone, not email. You get them on the phone and you ask them a lot of tough questions and you see how they answer the questions. And someone will go, well, okay, you don't want to hire him. Some of them will say, well, just come on down to the clinic and talk to our sales staff. And okay, you don't want to talk to him. He's off the list. You'll get 1 or 2 to go, well, here's the answer. And then they'll answer you. So the one I hired, I have several now, but the one I hired, he answered all my questions. And he was knowledgeable. He didn't give me any bullshit. Hired him. It worked out great. Great guy. Dr. Fowler. Willing to work for, okay. Will you do Alpha 2.0 Business Builder again? It's called 90-Day Business Builder again. You can do it right now. You can do it. 90-Day Business Builder is open right now. I just don't talk about it for your warm guys because I don't talk about it with you guys because you're tired of hearing about it. So I'm not going to try to buy Business Builder every week. You're going to start shutting off your brains. If you want 90-Day Business Builder, go to 90daybizbuilder.com. Go there right now. You can sign up now. Go ahead. Go. 90daybizbuilder.com. Go. Where do your clips on these videos appear after you say new video? Correct. I'm 27, lost 20K on DUI cases this year. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. You got a problem, right? You got a problem you need to resolve, don't you then? Don't you? You got an alcohol problem. Regarding my power 100 days sober, hitting the gym and praying. Cool. Oh, regaining my power, 100 days sober. Great. Wow. I know how hard that is. That's really impressive, dude. Joe, that's great. I know how hard that is. I've never been drunk in my life, but I know a lot of people. And that's awesome. Trying to learn a high income skill and quit working for corporate America. All fantastic. That sounds great. You're on a good path. Really impressed. I know how hard that is. Your alcoholism is like my eating. I know how hard that is. Good job. I think Anthony Bourdain was having one-itis before his passing. I think it consumed him totally. So, but yeah, there's many examples of this. Caleb, no, seriously, I experienced bad breath on OMAD. Don't know how to offset it. More research. Yes, I can't answer. I'm not a fitness guy. I can't help you with these questions. You said you have more than 5 goals next year. Yes, I do. Since they're all aspects of your life, is there like a connecting theme? Oh, yeah. If yes, what is that theme? Going into the 3rd phase of my life, which is my self-actualization phase. So there are 3 phases. I've talked about this many times that men go through, or at least Alpha 2.0s go through. Phase 1, the breakout phase. That is for young men when you break away from mommy and daddy, which means you move out of your house. You break away from girlfriend or wife if you're monogamous. I hope you're not. And you break away from boss, which you start your own business, don't need a job. You break away from those 3 authority figures, and now you're free. Then you go to phase 2, which is your empire building phase, where you build your empire. You build your business. You build your 5 flags. You build your woman life. You build your health and your body. You build all your infrastructure. You get all that built exactly the way you want it based on your vision and your mission. Phase 3 is self-actualization phase. That's where you've built everything. You're good to go now. And now you're going to spend the rest of your life being and maintaining the best man you can possibly be without worrying about pussy or money or things like that because you already have that covered. So I'm shifting, hopefully, in April next year, hopefully, I'm going to be shifting from empire building phase, which has gone for My breakout phase didn't last very long. It was about a year. 35 years and moving into self-actualization. So all of my goals are moving into the self-actualization phase. Why am I losing weight? Self-actualization means you're the best man you can possibly be. So can you be self-actualized and overweight? No. So that's why I'm losing weight, right? Right. If I want to buy something, so in my case, it would be, what's an example for me at my income level? A first-class ticket that's on the other side of the planet, and it's like, $12,000 one way. Can I afford it? Yeah. But it bothers me. So if I that bothers me. Am I self-actualized? If something I want and the cost bothers me, am I self-actualized? No. I want to get to the point, and I'm almost there, where I can just go, okay. And I don't care how much it costs. Because I don't care how much anywhere in the world flights cost now, hotels, eating out. I've talked about this. Dubai, Pink Firefly, go out to a restaurant. The bill is $400. Go to fan. I don't care. It's fine. I don't care how much things cost. But there are a few things that still bother me a little bit. I don't want to be bothered by those if I'm self-actualized. You see my point? So yes. For the business and pleasure, I meant like if you're a lawyer and provide a service to treat. The answer is no, JTR. Stop trying to push it. What about the DIY course? No, you can't get that. Are lead generation businesses for high-end B2B AI resistant in most fields? I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know the answer to that question. I have some guesses, but I want to give you the wrong information. Do you still take your thyroid supplement every morning, even while fasting? Yes. Will you be taking this forever? Yes. Won't this cause your thyroid to atrophy? No. Show me your links. Show me your data, and I will take a look. I have a feeling you don't have anything. Show me your links to your peer-reviewed scientific studies that say if I take a naturopathic supplement every day that's this big, I will atrophy my thyroid. Good luck. I've done the research. You said you're going to be different from your dad in your 80s. Yes. How do you visualize your life look like in your 80s? Sylvester Stallone. Look at him. I'll be like that. When will your next paid seminar be? I'm going to talk about it right now. Caleb, you're the right hit about everything. Caleb, you're right hit about everything about the West so far. Also, especially Trump and Elon fallout. Props for that prediction. I'm operating on almost 100% of my predictions. In the last 6 or 7, 8 years, I think I'm at 100%. And you Trump supporters still say, but that's not true. And then you end up looking like fucking morons. Just did a live stream about that last week, didn't I? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just curious why. Just curious, you don't think AI is going to fix the West? It's the word fix. If by fixing the West, an AI communist utopia, which will be hell for people like me, it could. Is that my definition of fix? No. Is that your definition of fix? I don't know. I don't know you. Maybe. Most idiots are going to think that's great. People like me are going to be living in hell. So it's not, to me, it's not a fix. To the elites, it'll be a fix. Sam Altman will think it's great. Zuckerberg think it's great. Trump will probably be dead. But if Trump's like, he'll think it's great. Bernie Sanders will love it. A lot of you will think, this is great. I can sit on my ass and play video games all day and do nothing. Cool. I never get to go anywhere, and I live in this studio-sized apartment, and I have 2 shirts and no car. But hey, it's great. So it depends on what the word fix means. I talked about this in my books. When is the next Samson and Wizard release? Probably after my new phase. Caleb, I've seen monogamy consistently work in one particular scenario. Both were committed to building a family. Usually many children were involved. False. AP Gamage. You are wrong. He cheated. You are wrong. I'm sorry. I didn't say they didn't get divorced. I said they fucked other people. At some point over that 25-year marriage, if they last that long, which they probably won't, there are many men who are good fathers and raise kids who fuck other girls aside or have fucked other girls. And there are many women who in those marriages who have played around, which means they're no longer monogamous. They're still married together, but they're not monogamous. You were incorrect. Sorry. We're going to announce tomorrow, and I'm going to wrap this up. We're going to announce tomorrow an AI training course that I will be doing along with some AI experts. This will happen probably on Sunday. There's been a delay because I've had some problems this week. We're switching over payment processors, and it's been kind of a nightmare, so I'm a little behind. But we're going to probably announce this tomorrow. There is no page I can show you to yet. It'll be a training on Sunday. It'll be me, and it'll be either they're going to show up, or more than likely, these are kind of nerdy guys. They're kind of shy. AI experts that I have worked with who charge $500 plus an hour who are fucking AI geniuses on how you can improve using AI tools right now. I will show you the things that I do, and I will show you the things they have taught me and the things they have do. Stuff you can do right now. This is not about the future of AI. That's horseshit. I don't care about that stuff. These are tools and specific techniques you can use right now to improve your life, to be more productive, to make more money faster, to get an edge on your competition. Now, you shouldn't have a lot of competition if you have niche, but you get my point. To make sure you don't get left behind in the AI revolution. Stay tuned to my YouTube channels and my mailing list if you're on it. I'm announcing this probably tomorrow. And it's kind of I don't want to talk about it. It's kind of a big deal. And I'm not an AI expert, so I hire the experts that I work with. I'm using their materials. My God, I just talked to one of them 2 days ago. Oh, there's two things actually I'm doing, but I'll talk about in the training. Cool? Cool. Just stay tuned. All right, one or two more questions. I got to go. When I'm not gaming, I chew gum because it makes me more relaxed. Is this me using it as a crutch? No, it's fine. Any specific book recommendation if we want to learn more about self-actualization? No. Not off the top of my head. No. Google around and ask AI. I don't know. Good question. Will you do a seminar in other areas of the world like you did in South America last week? I had to cancel that because not enough people signed up, sadly, because it's Paraguay. Not a lot of people down here. What I am planning on doing after April of next year, one thing I'm looking at doing, I've talked with Billy about this, is doing another world tour. I did a world tour back in 2018, and it was very successful, more successful than I planned, both in terms of attendance and not all the sessions, but most of the sessions and the money we made. Might do that next year, or maybe 2027, go around the world and do seminars, low-cost seminars in various cities around the world. And then I'm going to list 20 cities, and everyone's going to say, well, how come you're not coming to my city? Even though I'm listing 20 cities all over the world. It's going to be great. Are some of your videos missing from the channel? No. I feel like a lot of your videos the last 6 or 7 months are no longer available in the video section. False. That is not correct. And if you have a specific example, let me know. No, we have not touched a thing. How important is reading regularly? Depends on what season of life you're in. I'm working right now. I'm not doing a lot of reading because I'm fucking working. Depends. Is it the least bad form of media consumption if you had to choose one? Yes. Most paleo compatible. Absolutely. Yeah, I talked about that. You used to have how to create an open relationship PDF on your old site when I lost access to. How do we learn the step-by-step process now? If you bought it, send an email to customer service and ask them, theonlyblackdragon@gmail.com, if you bought it. How do you think Central European countries will fare compared to Western Europe? They're fucked. They're fucked. They're fucked. Will they collapse just as fast or worse? Around the same. No one collapses as fast as Germany. Germany is the worst, so that's going first, and everyone under Germany. Yeah. No. Austria, Czechia, Switzerland. Switzerland will collapse later. It'll still collapse. This is the Peter Zeihan argument. Europe will collapse, but France will be great. How will France be great if all the countries around it trades with have all collapsed? How does that work economically? Switzerland's a very well-run country. Yeah. Not my kind of country, but it's a well-run country. How are they going to survive if all of Europe around them collapses? How does that work? Do you recommend applying the better pickup artist stuff nowadays like DiCarlo? Yes, that stuff still works. What book do you talk about AI and the predictions of what? Freedom Fortress. Caleb, www.caleb.top/freedom. You talk about different countries in South America in a stream last week. Will you do another stream for other geographic locations on Earth? Probably not. My bad. I found them in the live section. Thanks for wasting my time. That's great. Do you cross off? All right, 2 more questions. Do you cross off your promises in the 3x5 card right after you do them? Yes. You don't have, that's optional, but yes, I do that. Or can you do it at the end of the day? It's up to you. No homo, but on behalf of everyone, thank you for helping me. You're very welcome. All right. Stay tuned for the announcement for the AI course this weekend. I don't have details. I have details. I just can't tell you yet. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Those who want to join us for the Unchained CEO last regular live stream tomorrow. Have a good one.